Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. So we will be doing verse 7 of chapter 10 of Bhagavat Geeta. And we are at a section where Krishna Bhagavan is talking about how this world manifests from his mind. It's like from the previous verse 6 said, the 7 great rishis, the ancient 4, and also the Manus, possessed of power like me, were born of my mind. From them are these creatures in the world originated and sustained. So the whole idea is that consciousness is a substratum, and this is, Puranic way of explaining the whole cosmos. And the 7 rishis were representative of the 5 elements, and the cosmic intelligence and cosmic ego, the 7. So this is how it is. And the Manu, the 4 Kumaras were subjectively, our own mind with Manas, Buddhi, Chitta and Ahankar. And the Manus were all the other manifestations further. And they all come from Bhagwan's mind. And then we saw that how in macrocosm and microcosm similar actions happen. And when we wake up, our mind also wakes up and all that. So we went in detail about all that. Okay. So with that, we will go to the next one. Verse 7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha so vikampena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. The Sanskrit is etam is these, vibhutim. So we will be understanding this word more in detail. Manifold manifestation of my being. So there is one word in Hindi, vistar. Bhagwan ka vistar, spreading further. That kind of thing is called Vibhuti. Yogam is yoga power. So this is some little technical word in this particular verse, and different Swamis have taken different approach, and both are important. So we'll see. Cha is and, mama is mine, yaha is who, veti means knows. Tattvataha, in truth or in essence, somebody knows this. Sa is he, avikampena, unshakable. जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना कांपना means to shake, or avikampena means not to shake. Tremorless, sometimes that's the word used in English, tremorless. Yogena, in yoga. So एक word coined किया है यहाँ पर कृष्ण भगवान ने, tremorless yoga, avikampena yoga, and we'll see what it means. Yujyate, become established in that avikampena yoga. Na is not, atra is here, samshaya, doubt, no doubt about it. So that's something like that. So we'll see. It's a little technical. I'll try my best. Before we go into all the poetry of this, there is a foundation we are learning, so that we can enjoy the poetry more later on when it comes. So Bhagavan says that, see, I have described in detail in all the above verses that we saw, and in this verse he's saying that my vibhuti and yoga. So 2 words are used, and we know this whole chapter is called the Vibhuti Yoga. So we have to understand Vibhuti Yoga. So like I said, in Hindi the word is Vistar, or in English we can say variety. I mean, I'm just trying to think of worldly example. Suppose some rich guy has a very big house. So and you go And he's very proud of his house. I got this, I got that. Then he takes you to a house tour. You say, look, this is my room, my what you call theater, and this is my swimming pool, and this is my 10 bedrooms, and blah, 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 and all that. He's showing his Vibhuti. These are my cars, 10 cars. I'm just giving an idea so we grasp it, what it means. So here Bhagwan is not trying to show off or anything, but we see the cosmos. I mean, look outside on that night, millions of stars. Bhagwan ki Vibhuti, so many things. That's what Vibhuti means, Vistar. And yoga, यहाँ पर ना different context है, different people have taken different approach. Here, Nikhilanandji called it, and many other Swamis called it, the power of God is yoga over here, which gives rise to the variety. So that power is called yoga over here, and the variety is called the Vibhuti. So that's one way of understanding. And when we go to Swamiji's commentary, he's going to talk about macrocosm and microcosm. And both fit. So whichever one you like, or you can take both, and that's good too. 1 second. I put the heater on, it got too hot. Okay. So Bhagwan, so he's explained the Vistar already before in previous verses, because when he talked about the 7 rishis, 4 division of the inner equipment, and the 14 manus, they are the one who do the Vistar, right? So we already learned about Vistar, but here he's saying that you have to understand that Vistar and the yoga power from essence. And then he also, Nikhilanandji reminded that he talked about the qualities of mind also, right? He talked about buddhi, gyan, asammoha, kshama, satyam, shama, dhamma. These are we just revising now, so don't forget what he talked. That also is Vistar. He said, no, everything is coming from me. So then this is how it further divides, further spreads. And so he's saying that this is born from me, from my own power. So that power is yoga. And then, another way to describe this yoga over here is that there is a pure consciousness is there, and its ability to do this Vistar is called yoga. So that context it is like that over here. And when that power expresses in different variety, then it's called Vibhuti. So I'm just using different ways to explain the same thing. Or third way we can look at it, that there is one thing which is consciousness appearing as many. That's also, you can say, Vistar. Okay, some noise is coming. I'm trying to see from here. Okay, I'm muted. All right. So, how do we understand? Nikhilanandji gave a beautiful example. He gave an example of gold and gold ornaments, right? So, why all the women love gold ornaments? Because there is a reason, and that reason is that gold as a gold has certain abilities which other metals don't. And in one of them, it doesn't corrode. You find you have a gold ornament, you can keep it for 500 years, 1,000, I think I was in Greece and there was some crown that they found and it looked exactly as though it was made yesterday of that Alexander or something. So even a couple of thousand, it stays the same. So that is one power of gold. And the other, Nikhilanandji said these words and I had to go and do some investigation of those words and I understood. Because sometimes when you study Vedanta, you also get a lot of general knowledge which you didn't have from the example. They call it, I don't know if you may have heard it, I had not heard it, these English words called ductile and malleable. The gold is ductile and malleable. You guys had heard? Shake your head if you, so you knew it. I didn't know about this. So that was good that I learned. But, we know about this quality of gold. What does ductile and malleable means? That it can be converted into the finest thread, which other metals you can't do. Even thinner than your hair, it seems. You can make a gold thread. And you can make it as thin as like a paper. Usually have those gold bricks are there, when they store gold, they used to have bricks. But you can also make it into a very thin one. So this is the quality or power of gold. And so in this example, and then with that power, you can make hundreds and thousands of things from gold. Very intricate jewelry, and वो in India or China वगैरह में तो वो, not China but other like Thailand and all, they gold को मंदिरों में वो क्या क्या चीजें बनाते हैं, you know, and we have a golden temple and you name it. Variety is like infinite, right? So now this same example you apply to consciousness and in the cosmos. So in this example, gold will be like consciousness, and uska vistar, all the things can be that is made by gold, all the different ornaments, that is Vibhuti. So now you understood yoga and Vibhuti. So that's what this verse is talking about. And then what Swamiji was saying, that here he also says, Bhagwan says, the one who understands this, one second. No, there was another very important thing I wanted to bring up. Yes. So he talked about this Vistar. Bhagwan talked about this Vistar in the previous chapters also, but in a slightly different way. Okay. And if you go back, this is just revision so that we don't forget. In chapter 7, in this chapter, he talked about the 7 rishis. He talked about further Vistar, 7 rishis, 4 Kumaras, and the 14 Manus, right? But in chapter 7, he already introduced the idea about, Vistar. He said that I have 2 different aspects of me, 2 different nature, he called it, para and apara prakriti. This was, 2 chapters before, so I'm trying to just revise it so we don't forget, because Bhagwan takes the same concept and opens it up more and more and more in different chapters. So if you remember that, then it will get, sink into us more. So para and aprakara, usko 2 में divide किया था, and from that alone he said everything and manifests, right? So that's how he had explained his manifestation then, and then there is further Vistar. So that's why. But what Nikhilanandji was saying, that even if you don't take Vedanta, if you take physics, for example, even there they will say there is a matter and antimatter. You must have heard of that. Energy and some dark energy. So that's how they are explaining these cosmos now, in that duality like that. So he's saying that, and I was thinking about it, computer में भी वो binary language होती है. 1 and 0, 1 and 0 से सब कुछ होता है. So this 1 becomes 2 and then creation starts. And uska फिर विस्तार होता है. So that's how we have to understand. So he was just saying that when you hear this physics these days, it looks like they're talking Vedanta only. Vedanta is very scientific. That's what he was trying to say. And then in other cultures also, they have a similar thing. Like Chinese have that yin and yang. They said the whole cosmos is this 2 energies. That's it, yin and yang. It's sara cosmos bana hua. And then there is Taoism. Taoism also has a similar concept. So no matter where you go, you can't escape this. That how the creation is made with 2 different things, and it further makes it. So that's what I was trying to say. And so now Bhagwan in this second line, other part of this verse says that the one who understands these 2 concepts thoroughly, from essence, yoga and vibhuti, that person, he's saying that he will be endowed with this knowledge, of how whole thing is done, or about consciousness and its power, and then he will be free from vikampa, means disturbance in his life. He's not going to get disturbed because he understands this whole thing so well. He will be established in that supreme knowledge and free from confusion also, you can say. So this vikamp has several different meanings hidden in it. On one hand, it's a tremorless yoga, but what does it mean? He won't be confused. He won't feel bondage. He'll be free from bondage and confusion, and he will not feel disturbance. And then Bhagwan didn't want Arjuna to have any doubt about it, saying, there is no doubt about it. That's what he said to him. Yujyate natra samshayaha. If you understand these 2 things, you're done. So this is another way of understanding who God is. So one point that Swamiji brought out, he said, like when you approach God, bhakti, emotionalism is all that is very, very good. But you have to understand it just like you try to understand when you take a physics class or a chemistry class, you try to get to the bottom of it. This is how Bhagavan is telling that what consciousness is going to the bottom of it. That it has its power, and when it manifests, what happens? So that's what he was trying to say, that we should try to understand it. So this is what this whole verse is about. So just to repeat in nutshell what he's talking about, that one who understands, Bhagavan says, my nature with my yoga and vibhuti, and comes to know me completely, that person is endowed with a state of avikamp, means free from all tremblings, free from all disturbance, free from all change. And he gets established in that supreme truth. That's what it is saying. And the next verse, okay, now Arjun may be thinking, अभी इतनी अच्छी बात बोल दी, अभी मैं करूं कैसे इसको? So he's going to tell you in the next verse what to do to come to this conclusion or establish in that knowledge. He's going to give it another tip in the next one. But this particular verse is just talking about his vibhuti and yoga. Any question or comment? Anybody wants to add anything?
Minaji, Umaji. So Vibhuti is, when they say Vibhuti, they give Vibhuti, God's Vibhuti.
Oh, I see. हाँ, उसको भी विभूति बोलते हैं, yeah.
But that's not the same thing.
It's not exactly the, but वो विभूति में, see, जब भी विभूति देते हैं ना, lot of people who believe that has some subtle power in it. है कि नहीं?
Yes.
कि उसको ऐसे लगाओ, ये होगा, वो होगा. So the idea is the same. Where is that power coming from? It's coming from yoga power and is now into vibhuti, and so that's what it is. So some kind of meaning is connected with that also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Any other point? Okay, so we can read Swamiji's commentary. So Swamiji is going to take another angle with yoga and vibhuti, and both of them are valid. So whichever, either you can take both or you can take whichever one you like. Any volunteers to read? Urmilji, today, would you like to read?
Umaji, my Gita is a little older.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, yes. Okay, so Anilji, go for it then.
He who in truth knows these manifold manifestations of my being, macrocosm, and this yoga power of mind, microcosm, becomes established in the tremorless yoga, there is no doubt about it. He who in reality knows these two, my vibhuti and my yoga, he reaches to get established in the realization of the Supreme. We find the terms vibhuti and yoga, which appears in this stanza, are invariably translated as manifold manifestation of beings, vibhuti and my power, yoga.
So here in this paragraph, Swamiji said that's what everybody says, right? And that's a simple way to understand that, Bhagwan's power is yoga, and when it expresses, it becomes vibhuti, right? So that's what this paragraph is. But then he has another meaning, which let's go and see the next paragraph.
In effect, although these translations are true, they as such are not efficient enough to conveying the subtle and the brilliant connection between this statement and what has been indicated in the previous stanza. Macrocosmic projection of a created universe through the intervention of the seven seers is the absolute own vibhuti, while the microcosmic experience of a limited world through the intervention of the mind born four ancient Kumaras is the divine yoga of the self in each one of us. Since the self, presiding over the destinies of the individual, is itself the absolute that forms a substratum for the entire universe, he who realizes both the Vibhuti and the yoga as divine expressions of the eternal realizes the infinite.
Okay, there is a lot of different things. So what Swamiji took the approach was, he called, remember we talked about macrocosm, where the seven rishis are the five elements, and the cosmic intelligence, cosmic ego, all that, they are responsible for the vibhuti. And vibhuti, you can say all the things that you see in the world and the cosmos and beyond earth also, all the solar system, everything. Huh? And then, so that is, he called Vibhuti. And yoga, he called the four ancient Kumaras, our own mind and our vistar in the mind is called a yoga. So one of the way I was thinking is that yoga is, in general sense, when we say, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, what are we trying to do? Through different things, we are trying to connect to God, right? So now with these our own mind, man, buddhi, chit, ahankar, I'm going backwards to connect with God. So you can say it that way too, that it's yoga power, So he's calling microcosm as vibhuti and, macrocosm as vibhuti, means the whole cosmos. And within me, subjectively, he's calling it yoga. That's what Swamiji's explanation is. And then he's just saying that we need to know both, because the substratum is the same. How do we explain that? That, okay, there are waves in the ocean. Whether you take any wave or you take the entire ocean, the essence is H2O. So everybody's substratum, uska adhar, basis from where it's coming is that consciousness. That's what he's trying to say. But that consciousness spreads into two different ways. One is a cosmos and one is through my individual world. Both we have to understand.
And Umaji, that's the reason everyone sees things differently.
Yes. Now so सबकी दुनिया अलग है. सबके problems अलग है, सबकी दुनिया अलग है. And जितने जीव हैं उतनी दुनिया, right? True. Yeah. But सबका आधार वही है. Yeah. You got it. Yeah.
That this understanding of the macrocosm and its incidence upon the play of life in the field of plurality should not be merely a professor's book knowledge is indicated here when Krishna insists that the seeker must know it in reality, tattvata. This means that the above-mentioned knowledge is to be realized in a subjective experience and intuitively lived as I am the self. And when I play through the seven spheres, I paint the universe. And when I play through the four ancients, I live the tearful life of an individual. It is not then very difficult for us to feel the appropriateness of the statement in the last stanza that the rishis, ancients and the manus, all were born of the mind. When the self therefore detaches itself from the individual mind and the cosmic mind, it comes to revel in all its absolute glory. Identifying itself with the cosmic mind, it becomes the creator, Ishvara, creating the universe and identifying with the individual's inner equipment. It becomes the limited ego, Jiva, suffering the limited world.
So Swamiji said a lot of things. First, he said that the reason he told Arjuna that usko tattva se samjho, that apne experience se samjho usko, within ourselves. So that's called tattvataha, not just some bookish knowledge, but you have to experience it yourself. And then he's saying that we have to, after we gain this knowledge to the Shastras and all that, we have to realize it within ourselves that the substratum is the same. And when I play with the cosmic mind, I feel, I have all the powers and all that. But when I feel just my own mind, then I feel very limited. And how do we understand this concept? So I thought of an example that sometimes we used to use it with children. Suppose there is there is a war. Let's hope not. There is a war, but it's just hypothetical example. There's some war is going on in some other country and the American soldier is over there, right? and he is fighting the war, if he thinks, oh my God, I got to kill these people, I am this, I'm one soldier and I have to do so many tasks, he will feel very overwhelmed because it's a very difficult task. But if he thinks, look, the entire country is behind me and my whole battalion is behind me and everybody's behind, he'll feel very powerful. He can get help. Morally, he feels very strong that, like I'm part of this American army because he identifies with the entire thing, then suddenly he feels. Same way, if we just look at our world like Anilji was saying that everybody has his own world, but if I just focus on my own world and sit with my head like this, I'll only see problems, but I expand myself to the universe, it will get diluted, so that's what it is, that the whole trick about spiritual thing, that you expand your vision and then things don't look that bad and you feel more powerful, you feel like you have more resources and everything, so that's how I would look at it. And then that's why he said that identify itself with the cosmic mind, he becomes the creator, the Ishvara. And we know Ishvara is very powerful and creating the universe. But identifying with just my own thing becomes limited ego, very limited we feel, suffering in limited world. So that's the whole idea.
Umaji, is it also, in a very simple term, the ability to differentiate between real and unreal?
Yeah. Definitely, because that is also a very powerful thing and it gives us a lot of solace, when we feel, oh my God, what is happening, this is temporary and things are going to change and things like that. So many things can come in there. True, yeah.
To know this implication and to live up to this in a tremorless yoga, wherein a permanent and steady establishment in the experience of the self is assured. As at many points earlier, Vyasa is making his divine mouthpiece use the sacred word yoga in a familiar and a daringly novel context, so that the awe and dread which had come to be gathered round this blessed term may disappear. The tremorless yoga is as novel as the various definitions of yoga given earlier in different verses of the Gita, the one single irreplaceable Bible of revolt in all Hindu Renaissance movements.
Swamiji uses very poetic language. All he's saying is that Krishna Bhagavan defined yoga in many different ways in Bhagavad Gita. And, at the footnote, it's saying these are very famous and all of us can memorize these because this comes again and again. So one is Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So what is yoga? Is a balance of mind. That's what Krishna Bhagavan declared in chapter 2 of verse 48. So when you say what is yoga, one of the definition is balance of mind is yoga. What was the second definition? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. That is chapter 2 verse 50. Okay. Karmasu kaushalam means dexterity in action. Action ऐसे ढंग से करो that it won't bind you. Remember we talked about karma yoga. If you do just any action, it might bind you and you will keep going in the chakra of jana maran again and again. More vasanas will be created. But you do it there are two meanings of dexterity in action. One is from the worldly perspective, you do action in such a way, beautiful result come out in the world, your job is done very, very nicely, efficiently. That's one word, kaushalam. But in spiritual sense, you do your action in such a way that, you don't create more vasanas and you rise in spirituality. So that's karmasu kaushalam. And then the third one was dukkha sanyoga viyoga yoga sangitam. So this was a very confusing way to say it, but what it's saying that dukkha sanyog means connection with grief. And uska viyog ho jaye means you don't connect with that dukh sanyog. And that is yoga. Means you get away from, grief. That is yoga. But by doing all practices and all. So that was all these definitions that we saw in Bhagavad Gita already. And in this verse, he's calling it a Vikampana yoga, tremorless yoga. And the meaning is once you get established in that knowledge, you don't, you're not shaky. बोलते हैं ना कि your mind is shaky, इधर जाऊं, ये भी सही है, वो भी सही है, I'm confused. वो सब कुछ नहीं होगा. You have a complete clarity. You know what this dunya is, and even if some disaster happens sometime, you'll have a clarity about it. You know, and you will know how to deal with it. Basically, that's what is big campaign. That's what he's saying. So the first sentence, you know, what does it say? To know this implication and to live up to this is the tremorless yoga, wherein a permanent and steady establishment in the experience of the self is assured. So that's what it is. You know? It's assured.
When the optimistic philosopher in Krishna preaches a way of life and points out a goal to the fully efficient man of action in Arjuna, there is no occasion for poetic exaggeration or sentimental tomfoolery. Answering the questioning looks of his disciple, Krishna reassures Arjuna, and through him the entire crowd of the eternal students of Gita, that there is no doubt about it.
So again, Swamiji used a very poetic language. So he said, जब कृष्ण भगवान ने ऐसा बोला ना, अगर मेरी विभूति और मेरा योग समझ जाओगे from essence, then you will be established in the tremorless yoga. So according to Swamiji's interpretation, Arjun looked doubtful. He looked at, सच्ची ऐसा होगा क्या? हिंदी में बोलते ना हम लोग, सच्ची मुच्ची ऐसा होगा? He said, no doubt about it. He said, through Arjuna, he's telling all of us. He's saying, no messing around, you know. Yes, this is absolutely true. But we have to understand it tattvataha. ये नहीं कि just understand it like ऊपर से, you know. So that's what, you know, pretty strong language. Yeah. That one connecting sentence is there, no? Anilji?
What exactly is the technique by which we can get ourselves established steadily and permanently in the unbroken experience of the infinite as our own real nature? Listen.
So here the next verse, we were so excited when we got this, you know, that this is not this one, but uske baad wala actually. It was number 9 one. Anyway, 8 and 9. So next one, he's going to give us more tips how to get established in this. You know, here he gave just some idea of yoga, and so now he's going to expand it further. Because Krishna Bhagwan, somebody was saying that Krishna Bhagwan himself gives a commentary on Gita, because he first says something and then he expands it. You know, so even that is very, very important. He just doesn't drop by saying, because sometimes, you know, in the Upanishads, everything is very curt and small and brief, but here Krishna Bhagwan ne काफी expand किया है. You know, his whatever he's trying to say, he has expanded. Any question, comment? Anybody has anything to add? Or any other question that is from before, which is connected to Gita? Because we kind of finished early, so we have some extra time if somebody has any thing that they want to discuss about other chapters or this. Okay, I guess everybody's happy and satisfied and understood this. Naresh ji.
Absolutely, Omaji.
बोलिए.
कुछ नहीं Omaji.
Oh, I thought you unmuted. I said कोई some.
I'm actually watching the fire behind near our houses, you know.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your house is at a risk?
Not entirely yet.
But now everybody has to be vigilant. Yes. So do whatever is needful. Yes.
But the fire is actually on the corner of Bernardo Center Drive and Camino del Norte.
Oh, that's...
So about 2 miles away from my house.
Oh, that's close. Yeah. So please be vigilant.
They already are evacuating, like, maybe one more step, like my house will come in the watch list for sure.
Oh, yeah, please do that. And you can always come on our side. Right now, we are the same.
I know.
You're welcome to. Anybody wants to, come, please do. Okay.
This actually is such a close one for comfort, though, but they are not evacuating other areas yet.
Yeah, I mean, because they don't want to create too much panic. This is so
Too
they
much
have to do
panic
their
also.
job, but we, as a person, we have to be vigilant about ourselves too.
I
So,
mean, it's about 2 miles away from. It was 2 miles away from my house.
so
So they
all
said,
the best, and just stay
thanks
on
for
it.
so I might not be able to read that 3 or 4
Yeah, no,
sentences.
please don't. I'm not gonna ask you.
Because
Yeah.
I'm just watching it. I did pack some bags just in case, like, my passport and this and that.
Yes,
Just
yes,
to be
yes.
on the safer side.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to close Bhagavad Gita here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम. Okay, so we'll go to